Nobody's here.
You go down there, good, thank you.
Okay, just feet.
That's Gavin and Clara, okay, so.
Feel the center.
That's it. Touch the gallery thing that comes up.
Yeah, I can kind of see. You guys are going to have to look bigger because I'm not wearing my glasses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucy, Lucy.
In. In. Quick sprints. Ready? Here we go. 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 Work up. Switch. Switch. Knees up, angle. It's tight. Tight. Shin. Ankle. Good. Okay. Breathe. In. In. Forward. Come on. Go higher. Right. Over there. Breathe in. Low. Lower. Lower. Upright. Toe. Start to the heel. Down. Shukokai. Forward. Up under. Step these together. Pull and breathe in. Shot. Really round shoulders. Together, pull in. Shot. One more. Together, pull in. Shot. Forward for 6. And 50 short squats. 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Legs for 7. Okay, let's go down. One leg, heel on the ground, toe up. Switch. 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 And switch. Okay, flat down, butterfly. Grab your ankles. Elbows into the knees, push down. Lift up in your lower back and forward. Push down hard with your elbows into your knees. Right leg out, left leg in. Lift up in your lower back. Palms forward. Breathe in, breathe out, lean forward. Hold it. Okay. Hold your hands there, breathe in. Lean out, lean forward. Breathe out, lean forward. Hold it there. Hold your hands, breathe in. Breathe out, lean forward. Hold. Other leg. Left leg out, right leg in. Lift up in the lower back. Palms forward. Breathe in. Breathe out, lean forward. Hold your palms there. Breathe in. Breathe out, lean forward. Hold it. Palms stay where they are. Breathe in. Breathe out, lean forward. Right, up. Arms around. Away. Away. And over. You open, close. Open, close. Look with it. Good. Around the waist. Away. Other way. One in front, one in back, twist. Moves from the elbows down. Start to go faster. 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 Full speed. Hands on knees. And to the right. To the left. To the right. To the left. Back, neck. Around. Back. Around. Left. Right. Left. Right. Up. Down. Up. Down. Left shoulder. Right shoulder. Left shoulder. Right shoulder. Down there. Fighting stance. Slide in and punch. Nice and slow. Just bring it out. Hold it for 1 second. Stance. Snap back. I want a little bit of a snap. When it comes out, watch the hip. Snapping across. A little slower. Here we go. Hey! See you do on your own, then snap back. Hey! 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 Push your back leg when you're doing this. Right? The back leg pushes out and then snap back. Going. Hey! 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 Make sure that the ball of the toe is into the floor. That's what's going to let you push out. Push. Here you go. Hey! Hey! Stay tucked under. Hey! 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 Switch sides. Switch stance. Same thing. Okay? So we're going to throw the punch out, hold it, and then snap back and set. Here you go. Hey! 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 Down there, back to the other side. So this time, when you punch, land the hand and the foot at the same time. Okay, so we're still just warming up. And it comes out 1 and back, as opposed to going 1, 2, and back. All at the same time. First, here we go. And hey! 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 And when you're doing this, make sure you keep your weight back. Okay? Because if you're pushing hard and landing at the same time, you'll land forward like this and hold. Okay? So remember that the pelvis is tilted as we push, coming up and forward. Here we go. And hey! 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 Nice. What I'd like to see is a little bit more of your body going on that one, as opposed to just putting it out. Right? So you can do this, or you can let your body, by pushing the leg, pull that arm out. So this goes, this goes, this goes, this goes, and then the arm. Arm almost gets left behind. This. Okay, here we go. And hey! 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 Down there. All right, so let's switch over to Micah, to our jab. Right? Nice and easy. Just let it out. snap back. Let it out, snap back. Here we go. And hey! Same thing about digging that ball, the toe in. Make sure your back foot is 45 degrees. Here we go. Hey! 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 Nice, down that. Okay, so we will Oizuki step over. We're going to step over slowly, because I want to make sure that you're turning the waist as we step over. The waist turns in mid-step. As that back foot comes up, you're pulling back with your front hip. Turns and finish. Over. Back heel comes up. The waist turns, and you finish. And back. So we're just going to do it at this speed first. Just like that. First, here we go. And hey! And back each time. Hey! And back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yesterday during one-off super meeting, all one was saying, if I freeze, and then they froze.
I think their Wi-Fi died.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to check my phone in case it says something in the group chat. Oh, there. All right, guys, we're back.
So you should feel
Something happened to the internet. I don't know.
Turn it in.
Okay.
Your thumb is turning to the outside. We're back on?
Yeah.
All right, I don't know if you guys could see or not before. So what we're doing just a little bit here is we're going to continue with the Oizuki. We're now going to have our front hand starts, think of it like your thumb up in the air, but then bring it down. I want thumb side up. As you lift the heel on your back leg, turn your front hand over. Your thumb goes to the outside, torques. Your elbow comes to the inside, and it moves up a little bit. It's like serving up like this as your back leg moves. We're here. What's happening is we're bowing our back leg, we're bowing our front leg, and we're putting our core over here, out in front of the rest of our body. So we go from here to here. At that point, I start to engage my obliques. I turn my waist as my foot comes over, and I pull back. And then back. So I serve it up, turn, step, and back. All right, let's give it a try. Here we go. And here, thumb side up. We're going to serve it up. So first, we're going to do it just by moving the back leg up. I just want to see this part. We're here. All right, so you're pushing out. You're extending with that front arm. You're serving it up out in front. Your punching hand is pulling back. Right, it's this motion. Here. Start to feel this tightening and bowing, and your horror should be out in front. Still tuck, that's it. Tuck under more, that's out in front. As you just move forward, eventually you would fall. Keep leaning, and then go into the punch. Okay? All right, guys, let's give it a try. Here we go. On my count. Nice to see all of you. Here we go, and eight. And back. We're gonna actually do the punch, Robbie. So I know I had said just to come up. I don't know, it's just to give a little bit of practice. But we're gonna go all the way forward. Come up and pull. So serve it up to the point that you're about to fold. That your horror is out in front, and you're pushing with that front leg, and you're about to fall, and then pull back and punch. Here we go. Ready? And eight. And back. Up a little. Eight. You should feel it in the inside of your shoulder, of your front arm. That's torquing. Thumb is torquing to the outside. Here we go. And eight. And back. And really get this under. Don't have your hand here. Here. Okay. So we're going to serve it up. And eight. And back. Beautiful. And again. And eight. And back. And eight. And back. All right, let's just warm up the legs quickly, and then we're going to get to doing some punching. So, fighting stance for my Gary. So, in my Gary, the only thing I want you to think about is open your door a little bit. Okay, so open your stance. Open a little bit towards your back leg. That way, when you go to kick, as you bring your back leg up, you can straighten into it. Just like this. Up and back. Up and back. Your forward arm becomes like this hinge that your body turns into. This stays the same, and my body turns into it as I kick and back. Nice and slow and easy. Here we go. And by the way, same thing, you can torque the elbow in and the thumb out on the front hand, just a little bit as you're doing this. And back. And back. Here we go. And eight. And back. Eight. Eight. Careful that you don't end up leaning too much back like this. A little more forward and back. Here we go. Eight. Very nice. Eight. Torque that front hand just a little bit as you're doing it. Eight. Yes. Eight. 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 Keep going on your own time. Let's move this hand here. Yeah. So in tight connection. Bring it out. Then it's your thumbs. Now you're like this. Okay. This hand, front hand is a little bit higher in height. That was a little bit lower. Elbows in. That's there. Don't kick away here though. Just keep waist tight. Okay? And open your head towards your back legs. That's it. Now when you kick, straight. That's your Beautiful. Right? Couple more. Here we go. On my count. And eight. Hey! 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 Gamin. Okay, so you're kicking with a front flat instep. That's like a groin kick, right? So what we want is the toes. Have you ever walked in high heels? No. Okay, so I have, but just for fun. Do it regularly. You're up like this. Okay, we want the front, the ball of the toe when we're kicking. So we don't want to be kicking like this. That's fine if you're going into the groin. But other than that, we want to be kicking, if this is the ball of my front toe, that's what's sticking out. So when I kick, right, if I have my feet straight, I break my toes. Right? So by having the ball of the toe out, I don't hurt myself. Think about that, that's one. Two, again, we don't want to be kicking up here. Just waist height. You can look in the mirror. You guys know at home roughly what waist height is going to be. Just out in front and back, right? We don't have to be kicking like a chin shot, right? Just keep your stability right here. Okay, a few more. Here we go. Switch stance. Let's do the other side. And hey, hey, hey. Still something a little more back. Still doing that like this. Keep this stable. Keep your crunch, and just stay up. Here we go. Hey, 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 hey. All right, now we've done enough sort of warm up. Things to think about when doing this, right? Everything is all about the basics are what make more complicated things better. So I want to work a little bit on power. Two reasons. One is sort of a hallmark of Shukokai, and two, it's also just a lot of fun. All right, so we're going to work on power, I think, with the punch right here. And we'll pull out, actually, Jay, can you pull one more of these out? Would you mind? We're going to push this a little bit further down this way. Okay. Good. Yeah, stop right there. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to start with our punch. And you know, we have sort of 5 points that we talk about when you do your stance, right? Your fighting stance. So you've got your knee bent over your toes, right? You have straight leg. You got the top of your hamstrings, really pushing up into your rear end. You've got your front hand, shoulder in front, and your back shoulder behind. Right? Here's your stance. And there's a reason for that. It's designed to optimize power. Okay, from here, some of the things I can be thinking about is I'm going to draw my power from leverage. Right? If I just go like this, I only have so much power. But if I push off, I get a lot more power. Or am I pushing off here? I'm pushing off the floor. I'm using the floor to get my power. Right? And the Shukokai stickman has an S. It goes up like this and out. And that's designed into our stance. Our stance, we're creating the stickman. As we push up from the ground, we deliver the power into the leg. This comes through the bowing of the leg. It's going to push the hip. The hip is going to pull the pectoral muscles, and that's just going to slingshot the arm. So we need to figure out ways to make that more and more efficient. We need to make it faster and easier. We need to find ways so we're not forcing it to happen, but by torquing the body up and then just releasing it happens all on its own. So when we create this stance, start to think about, all right, I've got this front hand. How is this front hand going to help give me power when I'm punching with the back hand? Right? Well, if you can think of it like a rope, it goes around here to here. And as I pull, it moves like this. Then you can think the harder I pull on this, the faster this one's going to come on. Right? So that's one of the things that's helpful. As I'm pushing from the floor, and I've got the ball of the toe, pushing into the floor and driving here, as this drives forward, it's also slingshot out my arm. If I can combine the two of these at the same time, I start to get more power. Right? It's, if I want to get to the mirror quickly, if I pull on this bar, I'm going to get to the mirror a lot faster than if I just step forward. So if I can think about I have this bar in front of me, and I want to pull myself forward towards it. And while I'm pulling with my front hand, I'm pushing with this leg to let my arm come out. It'll help increase my power. Right? So the first thing we want to do is let's take our stance. Right? I want you to think about front leg as a brake, back leg as the gas pedal. They're on at the same time. So as much as I'm pushing down on the gas and powering forward, pushing forward, I've got the brake pushing back. Now I've got this force in the floor, right? If I lift up my front leg, right, then I'm taking the brake off, I just go forward. No effort whatsoever, my body just does it. Same thing happens in reverse. Okay, so we start out our stance with these opposing forces. Right? I take my fighting stance. I've got straight back leg. I've got the leg going up into my butt. I've got my knee over my toes. Front hand is out, shoulder in front. Back hand, the shoulder is behind the pad. I'm ready here now, and I'm picturing in my mind this rope that goes around my shoulders. Right? If I pull here, this one goes forward. As I lift up my back heel, I start to feel like tighten. I want you guys doing this while I'm saying. I start to feel this tighten, and I start to feel more pressure on the gas. So I have to put more pressure on the brake. Okay? Now, right now, I've got this rope that goes around like this. I'm pulling back with my punching hand. That's causing the handle that's in here with the rope to push against my palm. Here. It's like pull here, here. I'm creating this tension. At the same time that I'm going to release the tension with this hand, with my punching hand. I release here, this hand pulls back, and I release the brake, and this pushes forward. That's what we're looking to do. So we're creating a torsion in the body where everything, there's all this built up kinetic energy. And then all we have to do is just release it. We build it up, we build it up, we build it up. I'm creating pressure. I can feel this in here. Hard, solid. I'm pulling here. I'm pushing here. And then, on a moment's notice, I just release it. And it goes. Let's give it a try. Okay, so where you are, start to create that brake and gas with your legs. You're pushing balls of the toes in, you're tucked under, right? You're pulling back. It's like a jump rope, and the handle here, and it's going around. And you're pulling back on this, and you're pushing forward against the handle there. Right? Creating gas, brake, pressure, 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 push forward, and release. And back. Okay, let's try it again. Create that pressure, push, push, ball of the toe into the ground. Balls of the toes into the ground. Push forward. Push with that palm. Pull with that other hand. More, tuck under more, keep pushing, and release, go. One more time, here we go. And gas, brake. Lower the legs, tuck under. Push forward with that front hand. Push, push, pull, pull, and release, and back. All right, so guys, at home, I don't know if you have any pads or pillows that you can use. If you were here, you'd start to get to use the Wave Masters. So you might want to think about if there are ways that you can start to get in here as we start to incorporate more of the equipment, if possible. Okay? So let's step up to the Wave Masters here. All right? Guys, you're going to just have to do this at home as best you can. Get a fighting distance away from the front of the Wave Master. So what I want you to do first is, without all that pressure and torque, I want you to just punch the Wave Master. Just slide in. Okay, without the torque. Slide in and punch. Get a good feeling for that. So home, same thing, without the torque, just punch and come back. Punch and come back. All right? Keep going. Make sure that you're tilting your wrists to the outside. You're focusing all the power. Okay? And you just need to do this. Okay? Just punch. Right? You're just sliding forward, just punch. So, yeah, you can get a decent punch, but it may, you'll find, begin to feel a little bit empty. What I want you to do now, same thing as what we were doing before, where we're going to add the torsion We're going to add the gas and the brake. Right? So I want you to take a fighting stance in front of the pad. You have gloves? Okay. Next time, bring them just in case we do this again. You should be able to do the bare knuckle, but the gloves may help you in the beginning a little bit first, okay, until you get used to it again, because we haven't been hitting pads in a while, right? So that would make sense. All right. So remember that when you punch and you hit the pad, the wrist turns to the outside. Focus all the power in the front two knuckles. Right? I want you to line up in fighting stance in front. I want you to start to bow. I think you're going to need to get a little bit closer. Okay? Please be careful that the fronts don't go back and then come down on your front toes. All right, so let's just keep that in mind. All right, so I want you to start to put the gas and the brake on at the same time. Start to create that torsion in your feet. Okay, you should start to feel the bowing on both legs. Hands in front hand. All right, I want the upper thigh into your rear end, pushing up in there. Knee over the toes. Now, you've got that jump rope that you're holding around the back of your neck. You've got the handle here and the handle here. You're pulling back on this hand. You're pushing forward on your front hand. Start to create the torsion. Push, push with the front foot, push with the back foot. Start to tuck and get that third leg out over that front foot as you push, over your back foot as you push. Push, 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 and release. You'll probably find it's a stronger punch. Right? That's what we're looking to achieve. Right? It's very different from just going like this versus if I have everything in place and then I just release. You get a much different effect. Right? You can isatsu. Right? Do it once, get the job done right the first time. Right? One hit finishes the job. We're just going like this, it's a little bit light. A couple more, let's try like that. Here we go. You can switch hands, by the way, too. It's hurting the wrist, it's hurting you. Right? So, you line up, you start the gas and the brake. Make sure the ball on your back foot especially, but I like to use the front foot too, are both digging into the ground. That's really giving you almost like cleats on the bottom of your feet. Right? Push with the gas on the back, push with the brake on the front. As you push, the third leg goes out, right? Crease on the front leg, third leg goes out. Push, push, get that strong. Add the hands. Front hand, shoulder in front. Back hand, shoulder behind the chest. Pulling on the jump rope. Pull backwards, push forwards. Pull and push. Pull and push. Harder, harder, push forward more with the front hand. Push, push, and release. Try it again. Gas and brake. Here we go. Push with the front foot backwards. Push with the front foot backwards. If you were to lift up your back foot, you would just go backwards. Okay? Front hand, push forward. Back hand, pull. You get this motion where you've got like this. I've got my chest in front of my shoulder on my back hand. Push with the back leg. Push. The front hand's pushing. The elbow can be torqued in a little bit. Push, 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 and release. And again, here we go. Gas and brake. Push, push, push. Pull with the arm. Pull with the back hand. Push with the front hand. And release. And now we're going to try with the jab. So we're going to take the same concept and move it over into Maiken. Right? So Maiken's a little bit different because when we're doing Yakuzuki or Oizuki, we have our back leg behind our punch. We have leverage here that goes down to here. When we're using this hand, there's nothing behind us. Right? This is all empty. So somehow or another, we still have to get the leverage. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to rely more on that third leg. So when we go to jab, I shift my body. I shift it so my third leg is way out. And then I'm pushing in a manner that sort of goes diagonal. And I end up my hip to my elbow. Or if it's this way, it's my hip to my elbow. This is giving this support. As I push, I'm going to push across and up and out. Cross and up and out. When I finish my punch, right? Rather than having it out over here, where there's nothing behind it, I'm gonna have it by my sternum, so that my front two knuckles basically line up with my sternum. I've shifted my hips so that my back leg is just about behind my sternum on the other side, down below. Now I've got that leverage that I need for a solid punch. When something pushes back on it, it's pushing, in a sense, here, down to there, into the forward, right? Or here to here, back down to there. If I'm out over here, there's nothing behind the punch. My shoulder can just go back. It has to be in front of me. So, same type of thing with gas and brake. This time I'm jabbing, so I'm in left ear. I'm here, right? And I'm pushing, So this is what happens. I get the crease on the front leg. Here, or if I'm doing it right-handed, here, right? And the third, it makes like a C, goes out this way, here, in and out, here. So when I'm jabbing, I've got my front hand closer to the middle of my sternum, and the back hand out here. As I go in like this, I'm creating tension. Push the front hand forward, and my third leg comes out. Here's my gas and brake. 1, push. 2, push. 3, release. Notice, we're going to try it first without the bags. Just back up a little bit. Okay, same thing. So we're going to take fighting stance. Line yourself up so that you've got your oizuki hand closer to your center point, your sternum. And you've got your jabbing hand out at the side. Okay? Think about the palm of your jab hand pushing forward a little bit, this way. Okay? That'll get your shoulder in place. Now, gas and brake. Start to push. The front crease comes in. Third leg goes out. While this is going out, your front hand on this side is going out also. It's this motion. Here, here, here. Now I'm set and release. Okay? That's it. Here we go. We're going to do a couple of these. Just a very sort of moderate speed. And hey! 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 So Robbie, you're getting a little bit of like a hook down this way. It's not so much as a hook. I'm just, as I come forward, I finish into the middle. Okay, I'm here, I come forward and finish in the middle. I could finish out here, right? But then my shoulder's at risk of getting popped out. I want to finish here in front. I settle into my punch in front. We did a lot of this settling in with Sensei Gavin earlier in the week in doing a Nanko, right? With a 1, 2, right? It's that same that 2 is the jab, is the Michelin punch in front. All right, so let's try just a couple more, then we're going to hit the bags here. Here we go. Ready? Fighting stance. Okay, think about what you're doing with your hands. Same thing, jump rope is behind, is around the neck, right? So that's pulling and pushing. We're going to be taking the front crease, pushing that in, coming out the side. So we get this motion, your front hand pushes forward, right? Your Yakuzuki hand pushes forward. We get this motion going. It's like this in the camera. This, that, you see, here, 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 release, and back. There we go. And eight, 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 eight. Gavin, you're opening up a little bit, and when you're punching, you're getting a little like this, and your back hip is going back, right? So we're spilling power doing that. So when we finish, when we pushed that third leg out, it stays there. That third leg does not release once we punch. Okay, that's giving us the support on the punch. So I'm not going like this. I have to keep it in place. Right? Now I've got a rod going from my hip bone here to my elbow there, supporting it. Okay? If I open up, support disappears. A couple more. Here we go. And eight, 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 eight. Okay, now on the punch, before you go back, just freeze. Okay, so just do the punch, hold it out there and freeze. Okay, now think about your back leg. I want to know how stable is this back leg, right? Is it driven into the ground, right? Because that's what's going to hold you. If you punch and you jab and you end up like this, where there's no weight there, then your jab becomes a lot more ineffective, right? Because when you hit your target, if the target doesn't move, you're going to go backwards, right? I need this in place to hold me there so I can push. If I lift this up, look what happens, right? I need the ground as leverage. And if I open my hip, look what happens, right? My hip has to be in place for me to hold this here. As soon as I open my hip, it goes away, right? So the leg needs to remain grounded, and the foot needs to be driving into the ground. All right, so we're going to try something else now for power. We're going to work on this a little bit at home. It'd be better if you had a weight master in front of you. I apologize. Faking. So one of the things that we can think about in getting the body to throw the punch is the snap of the hips. Okay? If we move the hips slowly, there's not a whole lot of torsion that's being released. But if we can get those hips to move very quickly, then we can get sort of a slingshot move on the arm. So what we want to try is having your front hand forward, and we're going to pull back and snap the hip up as we punch. So we step forward, 1, 2, and this is going to snap. So this motion, this is snapping up almost like I'm pulling, and again, there's like a block and tackle, and it's attached around from my hand, around to my waist. And as I pull, this happens. So when this happens, I'm leaving the arm behind. But what happens is because of the momentum, it pulls the arm out. There's little effort on my part. My body is really throwing the punch. And I go, and it comes forward. As I start to add more forward motion to it, I get even a harder punch. Right? Significantly more power than just hitting like this. Okay? So, I'll just step up to the weight masters. Guys, you're going to try this at home, either hitting each other, just kidding, where you're just going to step up, stamp that front foot. 1, 2. Okay? 1, 2. Which, by the way, is somewhat the beginning of a Mike and Yakuzuki on the other side. 1, 2. We're just going to do it with the Yakuzuki first. So you're going to step up, put your front hand forward, your righty, your left hand goes forward. You're going to stamp down and push. 1, 2. Give it a try. We're going to need, so this is a big brutal stamp. So make the motion. You don't actually have to stop on that before. Stop it. We go. So I'm stopping it just before I slammed it, but I'm still getting this motion. Right? So if you guys have, keep trying. If you guys have hard floor there, and you're worried about stamping and hurting your foot, just stamp about that high above the ground, but still snap the foot. So you're going, really pull back with that front hand. Step up. Let's do it, try it. Snap that tuck under. Hold the back toe to the ground. You do it. You just have to race it. If you want, stop just before the pad. So, and you can swing, right? I want you to pull your foot, pull your hand into it. Hold here, snapping this forward at the same time. Good try. More snap. You're getting a nice smooth. But what if you went to the GM rather than push? You get a shot. Right? We want to punch that when it hits somebody, they don't fall backwards. They drop where they're standing. There's such a shock that goes into them that everybody just flies. Right? So I don't want to be pushing. I want a shot. Just hits all the energy transfers at once. Okay? That's our Iken Isatsu. Hit, and we're done. And we walk away. Okay? So, snap on that back hip. And then you can come forward if you want. You can do it almost like a one-legged punch. So we're here. And you can finish forward. Let's give it a try. I want you to get a little bit closer. Because I want you to practice. Figure out how fast and far without touching the head. You want to be able to get so close, right, that I'm like, and stop. And having that type of control, right? Hey! Stop. This is a very powerful punch. You want to change the weight so that there's less effort. The body does more. Because right now you're still swinging a little bit like this. So, good the way it is, we want to try this. We want to make it that much better. So, another thing that we can try is the punch where we go one, back leg, instead of going. So you can start to snap with the step down of the front leg. As the foot hits the ground, try to stay. As the foot hits the ground, start to snap. The back foot will follow. So instead of doing the snap, the back foot hit it and push it, try it on the front foot. And that'll give you more of that one-legged punch type of approach. So start here, here, boom, boom, and then your foot catches up. Boom. Okay. So the punch will actually end on the back foot. Right? It starts here, and then it finishes there. Okay? That will try. Try the same thing here. So, nice. So we're going to try this now. As the front foot comes down, this is like this. Finish the back foot. Here we go. I'd like you to try right card. I want you to be able to. All right, let's try it now with the mic. First, there's two ways to do mic. There's two ways to do mic in Yakuza, right? One is you can punch on the front leg, 1, 2. The other is you can punch on the back leg, 1, 2, 1. Either one works. Whichever one is more comfortable or the situation is better for you. But the same thing happens with the snap. We're just going to do it this time with the jab. Okay, so instead of coming here and going 1, 2, now we're going to do it here. 1 is this way. I'm torquing. Front hand goes out, Think about backhand coming down. And there's my set. 1, 2. 1, 2. And then we'll work it into a this. Okay, so start out first, just to get this, to feel the torsion. Think of this as 1, 2. Pushing forward, the hip going in and the hip going out. That's 1. 1, 2. Eventually, we're going to do that just under the skin because we don't want people to see us going like this. That's a telegraph. But for now, just to get the feeling of the torsion, 1, 2. It almost becomes like a bounce back. 1, 2. Happens on its own. Give that a try first. So let's just go through like 5 of those. Just here, without the pad, just on my count, we're going to do 5 of these. 1, 2. Here we go. 8! 8! 8! When I make the noise, you go back. Okay? 8! 8! Couple more. 8! 8! All right, so now let's try it with the pad. Pads in front of you. Same thing. Back on the count, and then release into the pad. So it's like 8! 8! Let's, here we go. Clara, you just hit Gavin, and then you'll take turns. Gavin, you can hit, I'm just kidding. All right, here we go. And on my count. On the noise, you go back, keep for the torque, and then release. And 8! Make sure that when you're going back, you're not just pulling your shoulder back. The other side is going forward, and you're not opening up the shoulder. It's almost curling over. And your hip, right? You're getting that third leg. Here we go. And 8! 8! Deltoid is folding over forward. Sometimes you see like dolls have an arm that just kind of move like this. When they're a little kid, it's EGI Go, or it's just hinged here. It just goes like that. You just want this back like this. Okay, here we go. Couple more. And 8! 8! 8! 8! Now, let's start torque. So when I make the noise and you're going back here, let's start from this position. Now we're already there. Right? We're not going back, we're not telegraphing. We're in position already for our jab. That means that our front leg crease is already in, our hip, our third leg is already out, our jabbing hand deltoid shoulder muscle is folded over, our front hand is out in front. That's where we're starting from. Okay? The beginning of Mike and Yakuzuki. Let's say that we're going to punch on the front foot instead of the back foot. So that's going to be 1, and we bring up the back foot. And then the second foot would be 2. We're just going to work on the front foot. So we just go 1. 1. Let's give that a try. So we're torqued up. We're pushing the ball of the toe into the ground. We've got that jump rope around. We're pulling now back with our jabbing hand. The handle of the jump rope is in our front hand in our palm. We're pushing forward against it. We're here. We're torqued up. We're going to release the front foot and punch at the same time. And 8! The back foot comes up. Back foot comes up. Okay? Here we go. Ready? And 8! And push on that jump rope with that front hand. Get that hip going to the outside. And 8! And again, ready? And 8! Let's add the other punch to it. So Mike and Yakuzuki is 1, 2. Again, you can do Mike and Yakuzuki where you step first and then punch as you bring the back foot up. You can do it this way also. 1, 2. You can either do it this and this together, 1, 2, or you can go 1, 2. Right now we're doing it punch on the front hand, front foot together. Then you're torqued to do the Yakuzuki. Back foot stays in place, right? The ball of my toe is pushing into the ground. My front hand, you'll see, is lined up with my sternum. And then I release 2. Okay, so let's do the first part of Mike and Yakuzuki and then freeze. Here we go. Ready? First part and freeze. Hey! Come on. Okay. Make sure, Robbie, you're leaning forward, man. Yeah. Okay, so we're here. All right, we've got our knuckles are in front of our sternum. Our back foot is up here. Bring your back foot further up. Yep. Now, this is really tight. This hand sideways is this way. Okay? Now we're going to do the second part. The second part of the punch, we push further forward with our front hand. We drive in the ground with our back foot. And when we release, front foot comes forward, and we settle in, and the punch is in the middle in front of our sternum. Okay? So let's do the first part. Here we go. Ready? First punch. It's the punch and the back foot comes up. Here we go. Okay? Make sure your punch is in the right place, that your fist is tilted to the outside, right? That your knuckles go forward. That's it. Okay? Now, that leg needs to be, that back leg needs to be tight. Okay? Now, we're going to do the second part. We're going to push this further forward. And we're going to drive with the back foot, and we're going to settle in on our punch. And back. Here we go again. Okay. We're in Mike in position. Front hand, palm pushing against the jump rope, pulling back with the other hand. Oops, I'm sorry, wrong way. The back leg hand is in front. Pushing forward, pushing. We've got our legs driving. We're going to do the first part of the punch. Front leg goes with the punch, and then bring the back leg up behind. Here we go, and okay. Now you're going to push further forward with that front leg, and drive with the back foot, and then settle in on the punch. And freeze. Nice, everybody. Just tilt the wrist to the outside. That's it. Tilt it. Beautiful. Tuck under. That's it. Tuck under. That's it. Feel the difference? Okay. Beautiful. Let's do it again. Hand position. Forward on the jump rope. Pull back. Gas and brake. Third leg is going out, going out, going out. And first punch. Push forward with the front hand. Make sure that that wrist is cocked to the outside on that front hand. Push forward, push with your back leg, and release. Beautiful. Back. So, this works for my Gary too. Same concept, which is why when we were warming up, I had you open up just a little bit so that you could come this way with your kick. Right? So, it gives us more body motion. We can do it from here. I can create this crease. I can create the torsion. I can push that third leg out and put a lot of weight on my back leg, and then shift my my weight and release it. I cheat a little bit, which I don't think there's anything wrong with. I'm helping myself in the beginning if I open up a bit. Right? When I open up, I have more room to snap. This is what brings my leg up, my kick. So I can kick from here, just like this. But if I'm here, the same speed of turning my hips, it's stronger, with really no effort. I'm straight. I open up just a little bit and allow the hips to twist. With roughly the same effort, and I get a stronger kick. So imagine what happens if we start to put power behind it. So we want to start to think a lot about how can we draw the power from the floor? How can we use our bodies, right, to rather than go like this, we simply go like this. I don't know if you can see that. I'm doing this. Rather than going like this, we just go like that. No effort when I release to get that power and speed. And I think that we can do that with our punch and how we learn to use momentum and to use the movement of our body to release the punch, rather than us using effort to put the punch out. The same applies to here. All right, let's line up. Just back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Beautiful. Okay, line up, feet together. Great. Rush, thank you, everybody. All right, thanks everyone at home. See you guys during the week.
Thank you.
All
Thank you, Bob.
right, take care, guys.